Hello, Internet! Shoutthis here, and it's time for another episode of ShoutStone. I'm bringing you another Shoutcast from the Hearthstone beta, this time featuring Totalbiscuit. So, without any further ado, let's get into the action right now. It is Jaina versus Garrosh. Totalbiscuit playing the part of Jaina, the Mage, and JuanZa playing the part of Garrosh, the Warrior. Oh boy. So, weekend almost over, sadly. Many of us back to work. But we still got Hearthstone. I still am producing Hearthstone and being consistent with my episodes. And I am still working on getting a second caster, doing a little bit of co-casting going forward, hopefully. It's a long process. But, alright, in any event, Totalbiscuit starts things off by coining out a pint-sized summoner. So the pint-sized summoner can be very effective, usually pretty early. The later you play it, the more likely it is to get picked off, unless you can get it some kind of protection. You know, if you can protect it with something like a taunt or whatnot, then it's probably going to survive a little bit longer, but it can be a little tricky. So it looks like not much in the way of options for JuanZa. He's going to go ahead and just armor up. That's going to allow Totalbiscuit to put out the Acolyte of Pain. Acolyte of Pain is a great card with a Mage deck because you can ping it yourself using your hero power and get all 3 card draws off of it, even if you never use it to take a minion out. Now instead, he could use this to take out that boar and get 1 ping off of it. And he still has that pint-sized summoner, so he could get out something else in the way of minions. Looks like he's going to drop the Gnomish Inventor, get a card draw off of that. Get a card draw off of this, and clear that boar, and start dealing some damage to Garrosh. So, Gnomish Inventor, Pint-Sized Summoner, and an Acolyte of Pain on the field for Totalbiscuit. Razorfen Hunter alone is on the field for JuanZa. And he is debating taking out that Pint-Sized Summoner. Already Totalbiscuit's gotten his money's worth from that Summoner. So even if it dies now, it's dealt 4 points of damage, it's gotten 2 minions out cheaper. It's more than paid for itself at this point. Alright, instead, he is going to take it out with the Arathi Weaponsmith's weapon that he got. And he will get 1 more card draw off of that Acolyte of Pain. Thanks to it being taken out by the Razorfen Hunter. So some pretty sturdy minions now on the field for Totalbiscuit's opponent. The Warrior player has some bigger minions as we're getting later into the game. Of course, that the Pint-Sized Summoner is gone, so now everything's back to full cost. And TB's going to have to look at some possible options here. He's got quite a few. He still has, everything. He's got a Fairy Dragon there. I could put that into play. Raging Worgen. It's a really difficult choice because he wants to make sure whatever he puts into play is actually going to be useful for the next turn. He's going to play Cone of Cold to freeze everything down. Unfortunately, he cannot kill anything this turn, but at least he can prevent any incoming damage on this turn. At least from those minions. He does still have that weapon. I don't know if he's going to necessarily burn the last charge of it, though. There's not much really to attack, and it's more useful as a minion removal tool than it is just to deal a couple points of damage to the opposing hero, I think. Unless, of course, it's critical damage or something. Alright, so instead he's going to put that Master Swordsmith and armor up, and he will burn it on the hero. I don't really agree with that move. I don't think that was probably the most ideal move, but I guess we'll see how it pays off at the end. If it comes down to a 2-point game or something like that, then we know that I clearly am wrong. Alright, so there's a Frost Nova. Could control the field once again with that. Now that Weaponsmith has been buffed up a little bit thanks to the Swordsmith. He's going to play that Raging Worgen. He's going to take out the Weaponsmith and take out the Razorfen Hunter. So now it's just that Master Swordsmith and now the Raging Worgen on the other side of the field. So we're in a pretty good position now. So see, that's why you maybe want to hold on to that weapon. Because he would have had an option of, both taking the minion and using it to kill the Worgen, and then hitting it with its weapon. So he could have done that. But instead, the Worgen lives, and is using to buff up the Fen Creeper a bit. Alright, so target right now, of course, is going to be getting rid of that Fen Creeper. It's not something he can do with the Worgen. I'm sure he's going to want to get it enraged, so it's actually useful, but he does have Frost Nova and Ice Lance, which could make a nice little powerful combination. And I think he's sitting on an Ogre Magi there, so he could buff it up a little bit further if he wanted to as well. He couldn't play everything of those this turn, though. Looks like he's wagering... He might be the Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's exactly what he is going to do. So that could be a better move here. So he's going to play that Sorcerer's Apprentice. Play that Frost Nova. It will trigger into effect. And Ice Lance to deal some critical damage. Not enough, however. And he's just going to play the Master Swordsmith and not attack anything further. So, Master Swordsmith now on the field for Totalbiscuit. It's going to get some buff up on the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now, the minions are well controlled, so at least everything will survive this next turn. So if he gets another spell, at least be able to get it out cheaper on this next turn, if it happens to come up in his hand. Beyond that, he can still do some pretty good damage here. He can take out the... he can take out the Fen Creeper pretty easily. Alright, so Injured Blade Master coming out for the Warrior player, as well as Battle Rage. That's going to give him 4 cards on this draw. Because that does count every injured character that includes on the other side of the table. So both heroes and 2 minions for the Warrior player. It's the reason he gets 4 cards on there, just in case anybody was unsure. Alright, so turn is passed. Another buff up that goes to the Injured Blade Master. So, at this point, it is now a matter of taking things out. So he could very well sacrifice the Swordsmith, as well as ping the Fen Creeper to take it out. But I think he's going to want to be a little more productive. We'll have to see. He could... he's going to want to start dealing some damage elsewhere. And not just, 2 other minions. But he can't attack with anything else until that Fen Creeper is dead. He's going to play that Frost Elemental to freeze out the Blade Master. That's going to keep it well controlled for the next turn. And he's going to sacrifice the spell minion there, and he's got that Enrage triggered on the Worgen. Wow, I almost said Warlock. Enrage triggered on the Worgen. That's going to allow it to now hit Wind Fury and get that extra point of attack. So Totalbiscuit showing some great control, but that's kind of the cornerstone of the Mage deck. Is it just demonstrates great control over your opponent's minions, and it keeps things held down. Alright, Warsong Commander. Oh, and a Sea Giant comes out. Not exactly what you want to see with the Warsong Commander out there. That means that Sea Giant can attack this turn. And I'm sure it will. Now it's just a matter of choosing his target. He's probably going to want to take out the Frost Elemental. Some players would bypass it, go straight to the hero, but no, he's going to play it smart. He's going to keep trying to control the field a little bit better. That does, however, weaken that Sea Giant. Well, there's a Fireball. He could... I don't know if he's going to want to use it to take out the Sea Giant. Very well he could use that Raging Worgen to deal a couple 4 points of damage to the hero, then take the Sea Giant out. If he wants to be productive that way, get some good use out of that Raging Worgen. Still has that Fireball that he could use in any other capacity. He's got to Fire Blast it and take it out with the Swordsmith. Ooh, words are hard. Now, I know he's evaluating using that Fireball, and he is going to use it to take out the Warsong Commander, which is a very good mood. Alright, and a quick 4 points of damage, clears the field, and plays a Murloc Tidehunter. So, field is completely clear. The Sea Giant did get one good strike in, did clear a minion off, so it was played wisely, but some nice balance there. That's using the Fireball in the right way. And I cast a game recently where somebody burned the Fireball against the opposing hero instead of clearing the field of minions, or taking one of the important minions out. I believe it was one of Day 9's Shaman games. And it might have been yesterday's game, as a matter of fact. And yeah, that's just an example of, you know, doing that kind of, you know, using that spell in a way that seems good on its face, but, you know, you need to keep the field clear. You need to kill minions, and if you don't, you're in a risky position. Alright, so that Whirlwind clears the field, and a Worgen Infiltrator comes onto the field instead. Oh, he's going to buff up with Heroic Strike and get a quick 4 points of damage. Oh, see, moves like that are I can't necessarily agree with them all the time. You know, especially when your opponent's this high in health. That Heroic Strike could have proved to be a game-winning card. You know, that's a 4 damage card that you could have played on a turn when you needed to get 4 points of damage and maybe didn't have the minions to do it with. But, you know, I think that was burned way, way too early. Alright, he's going to armor up. Now Totalbiscuit staring at a few options here. Does have another Raging Worgen, has that Fairy Dragon, which can be very nice. Crazed Alchemist and an Ogre Magi. So, he can play just about everything in there. Not quite everything, but just about. Alright, so he's going to play that Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi. Gonna play it. There it is. And a Raging Worgen. Or as apparently I like to call it, a Raging Warlock. And the Fairy Dragon. Okay, so he's loading up the field with some good moderate cost minions. And we are at the 10 drop point of the game now, so lots of options. Voodoo Doctor. Don't see him very often. You really don't. At least not beyond like starter games. That's not to be an insult. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a fairly useful card. It's a nice 2/1 drop. Commanding Shout. He's going to use that to start taking some things out. Oh, and a good use of that Cruel Taskmaster to get the buff to the Worgen without actually killing it because of Commanding Shout. There's some good synergy here, some good use of those cards. And a Frostwolf Warlord, nicely buffed to 7/7. Alright, so he's going to take out the Raging Worgen before it can become a problem in what is basically a series of free kills. Alright, turn is passed. He's got Mirror Image. He's going to drop that into effect. He could also play that Crazed Alchemist if he wants to. But now things can die. He can ping off that Worgen. Get rid of that. And he can clear the other two minions off the field. Well, I don't think he's going to want to sacrifice that Fairy Dragon quite yet, especially when he's got... see, this is kind of tricky. I mean, he's going to want to... Alright, that's a smart move there. So he switches the health and damage of that Fairy Dragon to take out one of those minions. So he's putting it in such a position that that Frostwolf Warlord has to attack the, you know, mirror images instead of being able to attack a minion. If he left the other two minions up, they would have cleared the mirror images, and then he could have just gone to town. So Totalbiscuit now in top draw, which is a very risky place to be in any game because you never know what you're going to get. Execute on that Ogre Magi and an armor up, well, a shield wall up for the warrior player. Oh, so much armor. And that's one mirror image down. Cruel Taskmaster to buff up that card a little further. Flame Strike could be a very good play here. He can take it. He can clear the field if he deals at least... Alright, well, he's going to use it first, and he's going to trade the dragon for it. Then now it's time to start working down the opposing hero. Got to get rid of all that armor. That's going to be the first hurdle. But a good use of Flame Strike and his Fire Blast there. Lord of the Arena, more taunt. Oh, so much taunt. And the armor's up. And passes the turn. So, Dalaran Mage coming out. He's going to have to ping the Lord of the Arena because there's just nothing else he can do there. But at least he has that second mirror image up. He's going to rampage up. Ugh, that is a devastating Lord of the Arena. That could prove to be very powerful. And an Iron for a Grizzly. So much taunt! So much taunt. Speaking of which, there's a little more taunt for Totalbiscuit. And he's going to take out that Iron for a Grizzly. Trade a minion for it. And at least he's distracted that Lord of the Arena for one more turn. And a Kor'kron Elite will come out, get buffed up again. This is a really nice warrior deck that we're seeing here. And the pain is coming. So our warrior player is back over the default 30 hit points. He's at 31 right now with that armor. Things are not looking good for Totalbiscuit. He's in a dangerous spot. He's going to play that Rampaging Kodo. And just going to start pinging some things. Trying to take that Kor'kron Elite. But I don't think he's got much left here. Well, Goldshire Footman. More taunt! But now, the end is near. And another armor up. Down to 2 hit points. Well, there's Frost Nova. He can survive one more turn. So at least he's got that going for him. But that's about it. Maybe. I mean, it depends on what's in the warrior, what the warrior player just top drawed, whatever. Well, nothing useful. He's just going to armor up again. Silverhand Knight is just not going to be enough. There is just no way he's going to be able to stop this. Well, yeah, it's just not enough. He's going to have to concede. There's just really no way he can end this. But there you do it. There you have it. Oh, there you do it. What the hell's that mean? There you have it. That's going to do it for this episode of ShoutStone. Totalbiscuit fought to the bitter end, but just could not get the job done. It was just too much with all the synergy out of that warrior deck. It really delivered on all fronts. But that's all for me. So don't forget to subscribe for daily Hearthstone updates. I do release new videos every single day. Also, don't forget to like this video and leave a comment. I do read all of my comments, and I love hearing what you guys think. You guys have some pretty interesting discussions sometimes. And find me on Facebook and on Twitter. The links are in the description below, so find me there. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you folks next time.